Hey guys, welcome back to the Prosta English podcast. It's the end of December, and now it's the perfect time to analyze 2023 and set goals for 2024. I believe that after listening to this episode, you will have a strong desire to recall all your accomplishments and achievements and set the direction for the upcoming year. So let's get started. Point number one is to write down a list of the most memorable and vivid events. Nowadays, our brains are filled with daily information from all kinds of resources. Sometimes we don't remember what was happening a week ago, not to mention 10 or 12 months ago. Additionally, we tend to compare our lives with those we see on social media. When, for example, we feel down or we feel disappointed, we might think, oh, my life is not as interesting, fulfilled, or special as the life of that girl, that guy, that influencer, or that classmate. But in most cases, it's not true. We often take bright events in our lives for granted without focusing on them or keeping them in our long-term memory. That's why I highly recommend taking a paper notebook and a pen, lighting a candle, and opening the photo gallery on your phone. Start scrolling through your photos and videos from January 2023. Write down a list of all the wonderful moments that happened to you this year, and you will be impressed first by the fact that you've forgotten about 50% of those events, and second, because your life was truly full of exciting moments and memories. To my list of great events, I've added the following points. In January, my husband and I traveled to Dubai. We stayed there for 2 weeks, swam in the sea, visited the main sites, explored rooftops of the highest buildings in the world, and I also was in the desert for the first time in my life. In February, I was in Milano with my mom, and it was so pleasant to enjoy spring weather with sun and warm wind after cold winter days in Poland. For 3 days in a row, we enjoyed pasta, pizza, croissants, aperol, and of course, shopping. In summer, I visited the zoo and a tree climbing park, also tried stand-up paddleboarding and windsurfing, and attended an American stand-up show in Gdańsk, and also made my first ceramic plate. In fall, I hosted a friend for a week. I also visited a pumpkin patch and a home animal farm, and finally celebrated Halloween with my friends. Of course, I shared only 1/3 of all the nice events that happened to me this year, but when I reread this list, it brings me so many positive emotions. So I highly recommend spending 30 minutes on this activity, which will undoubtedly boost your mood. Point number two is to write down a list of your achievements. I believe that this step is extremely important because very often we tend to undervalue ourselves and our results. We forget that 1 year ago we didn't have certain skills at all, and some skills seemed like rocket science to us. But now we are much better at it, and it's our reality. And if you acknowledge and recognize your accomplishments, it will motivate and inspire you to achieve more next year. And additionally, it will also help you boost your self-confidence and self-esteem. Here are some examples of my achievements. The first one is, of course, this podcast. I'm so proud of this project because I finally found the format that I adore, which gives me a chance to inspire people and help them get into the habit of listening to audios in English. 1 year ago, I couldn't even imagine having a podcast with so many listeners who share and recommend it to their friends. Thank you so much, guys, for your fantastic support. The second accomplishment is about my driving skills. I obtained my driver's license almost 8 years ago when I was living in Lithuania. And since then, I draw only once or twice a year when visiting my parents in Belarus. And an important point to mention is that my parents' cars are automatic. And this year, my husband bought a car for us, and I was extremely excited to finally have a car in Gdansk until the moment when I realized that it's a manual one. And you cannot imagine my shock and irritation for the first months. I was always crying, saying that I would never be able to drive this car because I was so stressed and annoyed by this manual transmission. But after some time, it got better, and now I feel more confident driving a car. I can even drive when it's raining, snowing outside, or even when it's dark, and I also can park a car properly. So I'm extremely proud of myself. My next accomplishment is connected to Polish. 1 year ago, I could barely speak with strangers, and when I had to call someone, I asked my husband to help me every single time. And of course, it annoyed me a lot, but I still didn't want to learn Polish because I didn't like the way it sounds. But now, after 1 year, I watch YouTube videos, movies, and read books in Polish. And I also have classes regularly, and I attend speaking clubs. And thanks to that, now I'm able to talk to doctors, shop assistants, bank assistants, or anyone I need. The next step that would be great to complete before next year or during the first days of 2024 is to set goals for the upcoming year. These goals will be like a roadmap for you for the next 12 months. My recommendations regarding goals are the following. Organize your goals into categories such as career, health, personal development, relationships, and hobbies. And for example, if you have a goal to read 15 books next year, that might fit into your personal development category. Looking at each category, think about what worked well last year and what needs improvement. What points you would like to change and see different. And based on that, set goals that are specific, measurable, and achievable. And later on, from time to time throughout the year, review your list of goals and check whether the actions that you are taking bring you closer to your goals. If one of your goals in 2024 is to reach the next level of English and to start speaking English fluently, my team and I will be more than happy to help you. On the 15th of January, we start our A2 and B1 courses. And these courses have everything you need. For example, an interactive platform for completing homework, a lot of videos and text and grammar exercises, a flexible schedule for group classes, cheerful and inspiring teachers, and of course, a lot of speaking practice. And during the courses, we discuss similar topics to the ones covered in this podcast. Friendship, healthy habits, social media, ecology, relationships, traveling, and etc. After the courses, our students start working for international companies, find better jobs with higher salaries, feel more confident and secure while traveling, and also enjoy reading books and watching movies in their original language. And it can easily become your reality too. If you take a step now, at the end of 2024, you will definitely feel proud of yourself. More information about the courses can be found in the description of this podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for staying with me today. I hope that the next year will become the best one for you. Wishing you health, love, happiness, and a lot of cheerful moments. I'll talk to you in 2024. See you next year, guys. Bye bye.